I had 2 duplexes with 4 tenants, and on my one property in Canada, I have 10 acres with around 70 tenants, and I have less work and less headaches with those 70 tenants because of the laws and just the nature of the business than I did with 4. So, it's
Right.
sometimes intimidating for people, but, on the other side, life is not a lot greater. I used to make 2 grand a month profit, now I make 24,000 a month from one location.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson. And today I'm speaking with Chris Long, who's been making some serious moves in real estate since 2012. Chris, welcome in, man. Glad to have you.
Thanks, Mika. Excited to be here.
Yeah, no, man, I'm excited to have you today. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from your approach to real estate. There's this hybrid model that you've worked on. There's a book possibly coming out in the future here about it. And I have found it super interesting in our discussion so far. So let's dig in there, man. First off, people who may not be familiar with your world, give us that short version, more about who you are and what your main focus is these days.
Right. So I'm Chris Long. I'm the founder of Long Yard Storage, and I turned $47,000 to an 8-figure business doing contractor storage yards and what's iOS. So happy to dive into it. That's the short form, and there's a long form to it. But yeah, I'm basically bringing that awareness to the world. It's industrial outside storage with a self-storage twist.
Love that, man. So, all right, I'm excited to dig in there, but let's take a step back real quick. What got you where you are today? So you got cranked up in 2012. What were you doing then? And then what's led you to where you are now?
Yeah, to be honest, like I don't know what it was. It was like a bug. I worked with my grandfather at a young age, and we were doing tin banging, which I hated. And we got the lights on for a family, and I was like, I instantly fell in love with rewarding work and making change. And then the real estate bug, I didn't really grow up with anyone around real estate. I just, truthfully, I grew up kind of poor, but it was like, I don't want to be poor. So,
Right.
I was like, how do I get out of this? So I just combined, the only skill sets I knew, which was like work with my hands, carpentry, and real estate. So as quickly as I could, become an apprentice, work on the weekends. I always worked 2, 3 jobs, saved up money, bought my first house, turned to a duplex, did it again, turned to a duplex, and then got a commercial property. Quickly learned I love real estate, love tenants. In Canada, especially, tenants have all the rules. So I played the game differently. And that's what led me to the new venture of contractor storage yards in what's called iOS, industrial outside storage.
Love that, man. All right. The tenants weren't the thing you wanted. Now you adjust, which is why I love real estate, man. It's got a big umbrella. Rarely do you keep doing the same thing that got you in. Most of the time, you find your personality in it, that thing that lines up with you, that not only pays that financial paycheck, that is very, very important, but it also pays that emotional paycheck, like you were talking about. That moment you turn the lights on for that family, boom, it just hit like, oh my God, this is amazing. I see what this does. And it gives a whole different reason to just why you're doing what you're doing. Each nail, each screw, each hour, it adds up to that. And that's what fills you up and pays that paycheck, man. And I love that. So
Yep.
let's dive more into the iOS model. For those that don't know what that is, take us through it. What are you doing today?
All right. So
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
What is iOS? iOS is very commonly known if you're in that world, but it's newer term coming out. It's like industrial outside storage. And a lot of big money's going towards it. Typically, you'll see like JP Morgan, and there's a lot of larger institutional players, and they're just gobbling up a lot of the main iOS properties in and around major cities. And there's different layers of iOS. So just a quick high level, what is iOS? That's industrial outside storage. There's like single tenant, which is here's a warehouse and 3 acres. Here's 5 acres and 5 large logistic company tenants. And just to be clear, it's renting dirt. All right. It is the right type of dirt renting. So it's cash flow. It's simple. Where my spin on iOS is I bring self-storage to it, where we take the dirt, we carve it up in multiple compounds with fencing, cameras, gates, etc., and rent them out to small, medium businesses, logistic companies. In a lot of cases, because it's flexible, we can actually cater to a lot of the larger tenant base as well. So iOS has a bit of a wide net, bigger umbrella, but for the most part, it's dirt being rented to logistic companies and contractors.
Love that. It's simple. So how are you going about finding the tenant? So actually, let's go about the property first. You said JP and them are gobbling up these style of properties. If you were wanting to get into this, what are you looking at in terms of property? What's it look like? What's it zoned as? How do you go about finding it?
Oh, that's such a great question. And there's so many different filters. Like the first and foremost thing is this is an extremely scarce asset class. It's not like flipping houses where you can send out 1,000 mailers. It's like there's only so many in your area and they're hard to find. And once you know them, it's like the red punch buggy. That's all you're looking for them. So that's the first thing. There's few, and that's what's driving the value is the scarcity. So that's the first part you need to understand. And then it goes into like, depending on what model you want to do, because the zoning has many subclasses, right? Like for me, for outside storage and contract storage yards, I need to make sure it hits a certain class and a certain rating. A lot of cities will say like, Jacksonville as an example is like CCG2, right? So it's zoning, it's zoning code, and then the buy box. And the buy box, you need to make sure it hits the feasibility. I don't know if we're going to be able to cover all that, but at the end of the day, you need to make sure for what you're paying, you're going to bring in enough and that you're going to lease up like you said you're going to. So we've built out our own internal feasibility tools for this, which the banks have recognized and approved, but it's very new and a lot of people still don't recognize it. So yeah, it's those large 3-acre plus properties, usually graveled in and around typically airports, around highway corridors that allow outside storage. That's what you're looking for.
Okay. So I'm picturing Jacksonville. I'm just south of there. I used to do a lot of houses up in that area. I've driven around 295 that more times than I care to admit in a single day, just buzzing around. So I'm thinking about all the kind of properties that you're talking about, like close to the airport. Yep, I see those out there. Now, are they always graveled? Like, how often is it a seller that it's just like a normal kind of person? They inherited the property and don't know what it is. Do you ever find that? Or are these typically owned by already some sort of institution that you're getting it from?
Well, that's the funny thing because it is becoming institutionalized very quickly. So a lot of it, like self-storage at the beginning was mom and pops, and then you started operators started taking them. Then you started operators that started gathering up and selling them off to REITs or institutionalizing it. You're very quickly seeing that with this asset class. So what we categorize when we have our underwriting tools, I talk about tier 4 to tier 1. Tier 4 is like a forest. Tier 1 is like your gravel premium lot. I would say most of iOS or industrial real estate in and around the core has been brought up to tier 1 from the city and the approvals, but there's still a lot of tier 4 that needs improvement to get to a tier 1, which is just that gravel base, water detention, anything the city requires. So yeah, it's a flux, but for the most part, a lot of them are developed at this point.
Okay. All right. So for you particularly, is there anything extra outside of the normal iOS, right? Yeah. iOS model, because you do it this hybrid way? What's unique about it for you? Is there something even more in particular that you're looking for, or can you do this on the same kind of lots?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
That's a really good question. So we actually have a different playbook, and my book is called the iOS Playbook, which is coming out soon. Very excited to launch that. But my model is a lot differently because of the type of clientele and the different versatility we do on the property. It allows us to actually like branch off to a few different classes rather than just the strict iOS, which is very unique. So, and for any listeners, like I'm going to try my best to explain this because sometimes it takes a few times. Uh, but picture self storage, right? You go to your unit, you roll up the door, you walk in, there's 4 walls and roof. Well, mine is the exact same model, except it's fencing with no roof and it's your own yard. And you put your equipment, your trailers, your boxes, and whatever else. That's our model. And we actually have more versatility. So, with a lot of iOS, they have different clienteles that they have more restrictions like truck parking. You need certain radiuses and weight limit requirements, and then it gives you less options for land. We have more options for land. If it's oddly shaped, if it's contaminated, send it to me. I'm pretty sure we can make it work. We could take a look at it. So yeah, we have more options to make it work, basically.
Interesting. Okay. So you just sparked an idea. So I'm thinking about who's utilizing these things. There's a place up the road from me. You drive by it at night. It's fenced off, has barbed wire around it, and it's a bunch of FPL trucks just parked in here, a bunch of stuff. That's pretty much what you're describing, right?
That is iOS. That is iOS. Now, as I quickly described, there's like different buckets, and that could be one tenant on one property, and that is defined as iOS. And what's very attractive, it's one triple net tenant. And look at your operating expenses. They're minimal next to nothing, right? And they
Right.
pay for everything. So yeah,
Right.
it's what can go wrong?
Right. I mean, that's the thing. I find land and how to use it very interesting. I grew up in farming country, watermelons, pine straw, all kinds of different things. Just watching, like as I've grown, when I was in high school, I was on the FFA team, on the ag business management team, which is literally how to run a farm. You're learning how all this stuff. And so I've been interested since like young about how you do that, the different ways that you make land make money.
Yep.
And it's fascinating. I love learning about this model. I'm fixing to be studying a lot here around my local parks because it's good. It's so good because that's the thing. Again, personality wise, you don't just have to deal with tenants living in your home. You don't just have to deal with short term tenants. Like there's all these different asset classes of real estate where a good friend of mine, he made the jump about a year and a half ago from single family, he had a large single family business sucking the life out of him to that commercial space. And it's not as big a jump as most people think, right? It's you get kind of scared by the commercial terms where really, like you're saying, it's just a different playbook. You're just playing a different kind of game, learn the rules to the game. You're still dealing with people, the same kind of single family stuff, but just different people, different situation. It's really just a different conversation, different process. You do got to have cash conversion times you can handle that are longer, typically what you're dealing with. Now, how about that for you? From the time you buy a piece of dirt to that thing's cash flowing, what's that time frame for you?
Well, that's a great question. I want to take a quick step back and answer one thing that you said though, or just highlight it. I had 2 duplexes with 4 tenants, and on my one property in Canada, I have 10 acres with around 70 tenants, and I have less work and less headaches with those 70 tenants because of the laws and just the nature of the business than I did with 4. So it's
Right.
sometimes intimidating for people, but on the other side, life is not a lot greater. I used to make 2 grand a month profit. Now I make 24,000 a month from one location. So
Right.
yeah, why are we in this business? Cash flow and to make money.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. I think it's important
I'll
to know.
piggyback right there before we move on because it's economy of scale. It's learning how to, because it's the same problem you're solving. It's still the real estate problem. You're just solving a bigger version of it. That's where knowing how to do those duplexes, it's not uncommon you start in single family and move over because once you realize it's the same kind of problem, I can just go solve it this way. Boom. Now you're in. That's the beauty of real estate experience. It's transferable inside the industry.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
The nuts and bolts of it. It's still just dirt, still just a building, but it's zoning. Okay, that changes things. Just these other little factors. But like you just said, you have less headache, less time, more money. That, or less headache, more time, more money. That is what we're all kind of hoping for when we get
Yeah.
into this business, right?
Yeah.
Was those particular three things. So
And so I'll go back to answer your other question though. It's how long until your cash flow positive? Well, it really depends because what you're seeing in like the different layers of iOS, you could just buy an existing iOS facility with a long-term triple net tenant. Boom. Your cash break even day one, you got a debt service coverage ratio that's positive. And on the flip side, if you're doing development with like the My model, well, that you have a little bit more lease up time. And that really depends on the size of the property and everything else. There's too many factors to give you like a black and white. But
gotcha.
traditionally, you're probably anywhere from like the 8 to 16 month range, giving yourself a 3-month development. But that can really change depending on the tier of land. Like I said, tier 4 is a forest. Well, you could have this whole development life cycle where tier 1 is ready to go. We just have to go in there and do light infrastructure. But
Gotcha.
you can factor that all in your underwriting with your carrying costs, and we help everyone kind of look at that so they know what they're getting into. But it's either heavy hitting cash flow day one, or you gotta build a thing and do a value add.
Which one do you find yourself doing more?
Lately, it's just been the latter. I've just been doing the developments, and because
Okay.
I'm a developer, I'm a contractor, and we create a lot of value. My first property, I turned from 470,000 to 3.6 million by doing the value add play, and I did it for low cost points. And we've done that multiple times now. So, yeah, I like the development game. It's my skill set. I love it, and but it is nice too, just throwing buckets of money and scooping up that land that's already cash flowing. I just haven't,
Right.
not, we need some partners to help us kind of acquire that, but we know what the buy box looks like and how to do it.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, you've been operating. Okay, so you've been going 2017, you bought your first commercial, right? That's when you've been going at this. So you've got a track record of doing this now. Now, what's 2026 looking like for you? How many are there a number of projects you're trying to get done? Do you already have some going? Like where are you at in what your year looks like?
Right. So it's funny because we went through a growth spurt. We had our first locations, then we went and we locked in 3 more, and we're really focused on sequencing. So lately, it's get these ones under contract and just focus on dialing in the cost of acquisition and operational efficiency. So right now, our sequence is just make sure that that is sound and strong. Now, it is a very new concept still, so there's a lot of brand awareness that has to happen in the market. Even though I'm new to it, not everybody knows about it. So as much as I want to spread like wildfire, I've seen and grown too fast as a general contractor in the past. So there's methodical steps to our growth. So in terms of the sequencing, it's just build our fort right now, get the foundation strong, get the learning lessons, and then we took in a safe agreement last year to capitalize for this growth, and we're doing another round for the corporate entity, and then we're starting a fund, and then we're going to go to the next phase. So we're probably in the next, I would say, 2 to 4 months, we're going to be the sequencing of the financial prep and the operational strengthening is going to be ready, and then we're going to be going on to acquire next properties. And I would say on the minimum, probably want to put 3 to 6 more on our portfolio by the end of the year.
Love that, man. I want to step back into one thing you said because we got a lot of folks, business owners that listen to this. You experienced what it was like to grow too fast as a contractor. And then now what you just described as your process for growth is a very intentional way of going about it, where you're setting yourself up for growth. Because take us into that. What were the lessons that you learned from that first experience of what growing too fast even means, and then what that's doing for you in your business now?
Yeah, a lot of lessons came with that. I mean, I was a young dad at 20. I was an apprentice carpenter. I named my construction company after my grandfather, Conrad Construction. And we were going like this. I went from, having 12 jobs and 16 employees to doing a lot of work very quickly. And I was buying real estate, flipping houses. And then, we did a large commercial contract, didn't get paid. I went from all those employees and all those jobs to not being able to afford gas and by myself. Now, a lot of great lessons came with that. It was painful, it was hard, but I actually kept the company name. I paid off everybody. I couldn't pay myself. And then I built it back up from one employee. And then I went to 4 employees and I made more money being more efficient. And then I went into the commercial real estate. So actually I leveraged and bought long yards at that time because with my skill sets and knowledge, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the game, but play it a little differently. So, there's tons of lessons and everything that came with that. And that's just a few of them.
I love the one you pointed out, man, because more and get bigger isn't always the answer. Typically, it's where a lot of businesses go to die, because if you're not ready for it, if it's not set up correctly, it's owner of Rakuten. He talks about the rule of 3 and 10. Like when your business 3Xs and then 10Xs, each time it does that, you need different tools. What got you to there isn't going to get you to that next level. And if you build like you're talking about without that foundation, brings you to hard places. But it's also, man, I don't know any successful entrepreneurs that haven't had to kind of learn that road bump, because it's just part of the journey. It's part of what you go through, but it leads to the value that you can provide later. Because where you're at now, the ability to raise money, have people trust you, pull these jobs off, the business that to take 47 grand to 8-figure business, you don't do that without some lumps. And anybody that wants to work with you, man, they want you to have some lumps. Like the older you get in this business, you realize somebody comes at you saying everything's been perfect forever. The door's that way. Like run away. Like I'm more impressed by what people have lived through. What have you overcome? Accomplishments, those are based on something you had to overcome. Tell me about that, because that's where you really find that in people. So I appreciate you sharing that story, because if there's any business owners out there and you found yourself in that place, one, take a deep breath. You're okay. A lot of folks walk through there. And two, what now? What are you going to do now to build your way out? What are those next steps? You apply these lessons and keep moving. I love that, man. So
Yeah.
before we end here, what's something you want to leave everybody with? What's that final message for our listeners?
Oh, man, just go for it. I was sitting on the first long yards location in 2017, and I sat on it for a year and a half. My wife kicked my butt. She's like, Chris, do it, do it. And, the wife's always right. And I find myself saying that. And even to today, she's like, you see what it did for us? And you had to believe it. You should have done it faster. So, like, if your gut's telling you and your mind's messing with you, go with your gut. I'm going to say go with your gut, because your intuition is usually outrules the logic. So, I mean, yeah, man, I still love that entrepreneurial spirit. And like, if you love something, because the pain of regret is greater than the consequence of kind of going through it and the lessons you're going to learn. Because at the end of the day, we die with nothing. You got to go with what you love doing and push through every day, man.
I love that. I love that. It's one of my favorite questions I ask myself each day. What do you want to say you did? When all you got left's a story to tell, man, what kind of story do you want to tell? And that's the same thing. Leave it on the field. While you can, do it. So I love that message. Everybody, thanks for joining with us today. Chris, thanks for being here, man. I've loved our conversation. I think we need more folks out there like yourself, doing it the right way, building something real, passing that knowledge along. So, man, I want to glad to be a part of your journey, help build that brand awareness for you guys. If you're listening in, watching, thanks for joining us today. Chris, for those that are doing that, if they want to find out more about you, follow along with your story, what's the best way for them to find you?
They can check me out on Instagram. It's at Chris Longyards, or go to longyards.com and fill out a form if you want to learn more. And my YouTube channel is just launching. We're kind of a little behind on that, but for now it's Instagram.
Love that, man. All right. If you're listening, watching in, check our show notes. We'll have all Chris's links there. Like I say, when you meet a professional, reach out to them. If this is something you're interested in, talk to people who are actually doing it. Take advantage of that. Follow along. Again, Chris, thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for listening and watching along. If you got value out of today's episode, please like this episode, share it with someone else you think can get value out of it. As always, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We appreciate every single one of you that follows along out there with us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.